examples of woke education infecting America's classrooms. The Pittsburgh Public School Board shelling out $50,000 to a consulting group that aims to dismantle racism in math class. The group will educate teachers on how to replace white supremacy culture practices in math instruction with methods that center on the wellness of students of color. But parents are sick of all the wokeness creeping up in the classroom, and it could explain why there's been a major boom in homeschooling in America. The Washington Post noting that this has increased by over 50% since 2018 and is now the fastest growing form of education. So, Dana, this makes sense to me. Then they're inserting agendas into math.
You watch and are a participant on The Five. I had an idea today, Greg.
Oh, exciting.
That there should be an AI assignment editor for the media, and then they could save everybody could save some money. And all you have to do is have the AI robot watch The Five. And then in 2 to 3 years, you will write a story that says, wow, isn't this interesting? Yeah. There's more homeschooling. Who would have ever guessed?
Yeah.
We are the assignment editor for America, but we're just like 2 or 3 years ahead of everybody. That's where this was going. Glenn Youngkin, he became governor of Virginia by getting standing ovations, saying, I am going to make sure that advanced math and reading is taught in all of your schools. I just found this out, though. Huge news in Virginia that one school had 8 fentanyl overdoses in 3 weeks, and nobody told the parents anything.
Jeez Louise.
So now the governor has said, well, we're going to have to do that, too. So I think parents are hyper involved, and they're saying, what else can we do? And if a homeschooling option is available, and there's lots more tools now, it's much more popular. I'm not saying it's the easiest thing, and I know that there's a lot of complications, but if you are in a situation where it's unsafe for your kids to go to school, or you're not trusting what they're going to get, and you think that you can do it better, of course parents are going to make that choice.
Harold, what do you think about these school districts spending all this money on these big contracts while they distract from just math?
So I'm a firm believer that 2 + 2 is 4, and 4 × 8 is 32. There's no woke or black or Hispanic or white way to teach that. We should teach kids the basics. I love competition in education. It gives parents more choices. Homeschooling is a choice, and if a parent is able to do that, they should have every right to do it, and the school system should be supportive and provide the resources for it. The group of people who get talked about every election at every level, local, state, and federal, are kids. They get talked about how we want to improve their education. They have no vote. We have failed them consistently for the last 70 years. There's some schools, don't get me wrong, there are a lot of teachers. We sometimes bash teachers, I think a little bit too much. But students, people 18 and under, get shortchanged every election cycle because we don't improve their schools. And when anyone comes to introduce competition and give more choice, you have a bunch of adults who fight and squabble over it when the kids are really the ones that would be the beneficiaries if we allow more choice and more competition. So I applaud any competition that produces more choice, which produces better results. And if this is a better result, homeschooling is a better result for these kids, give it to them. If a voucher is a better result, give it to them. If public education is the right thing in the community, let that be the case. The students need to win, and the only way they win is if the parents have more choices.
Greg, you like this idea?
I certainly do. Well said, Harold Ford Jr. I think right now you're seeing the educational equivalent of the Law and Order pincher move that I mentioned in the B block, Brian.
I remember, like yesterday.
Yes. On the one hand, you have a toxic public education system that contaminates brains, while you prevent escape from that system by stamping out school choice wherever possible. Wherever it arises, you hear the left like try to destroy it. Meanwhile, who's exempt from this pincher move? The politicians and administrations who send their little brats to private. You know, it's great to be the warden's son because your son's not in prison. We need to introduce a law, and I don't know how you do it, but maybe it's an executive order when I'm president in 2028. If you deny choice to others, your choice will be denied as well. So if you are against school choice, your kids have to go to public. It's like the anti-choice leader is no different than a pro-war hawk who makes sure his kids never fight, or a hardcore pro-lifer who uses abortion as birth control, which doesn't exist. But it's the same action.
Brian.
I'm gonna build on my optimistic tone from a couple of blocks ago and say one of the good things about a terrible situation with the pandemic is everyone became aware of this, looking over the shoulder of their kids, say, what are you learning? What are you doing? What is going on here? And now everyone is zoned in on what's happening in their schools and they care. So something good happened. And I think people are going to change. What also I think is minorities are also went from 3.3% of those homeschooled up to 16%.
Right.
So the parents are engaged. That's not good enough for my kid. I want him to raise. I want to raise the stakes. Homeschooling's big. It's a big responsibility for the family. I will never put down teachers. I think they're underpaid and underappreciated. You can give them the summers off. They need it. I have no problem with that. But I will say this. The best thing to happen to a public school would be competition. Because if all of a sudden those vouchers could go to the school down the block or the charter school around the block, all of a sudden, why are we not having people? I'm going to have to lay off teachers. If we don't get better and respond to the public, we're going to lose teachers and superintendents, and we'll respond that way. And I just think competition works. And I think that Greg's saying to myself, I wish I said that. Are you saying that to yourself?
I was also thinking how much better Fox and Friends would be if there was a competition.
Right. I know. We need more people on Fox and Friends.
Okay, all right.
Hey, Sean Hannity here. Hey, click here to subscribe to Fox News YouTube page and catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis. You will not get it anywhere else.